Bowling Stadium for the American Bowling Congress Masters. Time now for the Alka-Seltzer Friday night recap, where the position round determined who made today's TV finals. And Mike Albee, top seed, looking for his third Masters win, Marshall.
And Mike Sands trying to bowl a 300 game here. He just barely misses out. Pressured Mike Albee for the lead. And we've got Mike Mullin on 4 in a row right here. That enabled him to get into our shootout round.
And Mike Mullin bowling very well this week. Defending champion Jason Queen lost to Chris Aiden, so he is no longer here. That's this week's Alka-Seltzer Friday night recap. And there you see it right now. Mike Mullin behind Parker Bohn III and Chris Sand by 33 pins. Parker Bohn up in the 4th.
Another great one from Parker, and I think he likes being the man going first. Has the opportunity to really put the pressure on the younger players. We take a look at Parker Bohn. Great straight arm swing, perfect follow through. Watch this high flush hit in the pocket.
All right, Chris Sand is up next, looking for his 4th consecutive strike as well.
Well, as you can see, Chris Sand certainly intimidated by Parker Bohn. I guess not. Great shot once again.
Well, Chris's parents own a couple of bowling centers in Michigan, one outside a racetrack called Hazel Park. So I guess you could say Chris Sand and Parker Bohn III are neck and neck right now, and Mike Mullin trying to make up some ground on those two.
Well, he finds himself 43 pins down after 4 frames. Needs to strike. That'll serve him well.
And Mike Mullin battling back in frame number 4. So he had 3 strikes across the board in the 4th frame. Parker Bohn is going to start out the 5th frame. Thinks that the fact that Chris and Mike have not bowled on TV might give him a bit of an edge, but I don't think that Chris believes that. Here's Parker on lane 25.
The great style of Parker Bohn. He coming in light, but he's got it.
So now Chris Sand on lane 26. Again, our TV pair today, lanes 25 and 26. Chris Sand also looking for his 5th consecutive strike. Can't get it though, Marshall. He leaves the 7th pin. Well, catch the PBA Tour online. You'll get the latest tournament results and features, plus stats, bios, and chat live with the pros on www.pbatour.com, sponsored by Brunswick.
And right now, Chris Sand needs a spare in the 5th frame to remain only 11 pins down.
And Chris Sand pumps his fist in the air as he picks up the spare in frame number 5. And that puts him down to 11 pins to Parker Bohn III now, who is in charge by himself. He's got a 53-pin advantage over Mike Mullin, 11 over Chris Sand. So Parker Bohn III is, in fact, in the driver's seat. Mike Mullin is up next on lane 25. No question about the fact that Mike Mullin needed that strike to remain in contention here. As we said earlier, a very mature 23 years old. He has 27 junior titles, wants to be a pro, but wants to take his time about getting to the PBA Tour. So now we're going to watch Parker Bohn III in frame number 6, and he has been perfect so far. Gets into it and gets the crowd into it as well. Let's take a look at this shot by Parker Bohn. He is certainly fired up. Great, smooth, fluid delivery from Parker, and you'll see it right there for the big strike. Gets them all. 6 in a row for Parker Bohn III. And Chris Sand now up.
Great shot from Chris. Just 21 pins down. High backswing of Chris Sand. Likes to throw the ball to the left and hook it back to the right. And he's liking the way this one's looking right now. 8-pin, last one to fall. Great reaction.
Mike Mullin really needs a strike here, Marshall. He's on line 26.
And the messenger goes in front of the 7-pin. Head pin went to the sideboard, went in front of the 7-pin, and right now for Mike Mullin, certainly does not look good at all.
Good young man, Mike Mullin. Marshall, what advice would you give to a young bowler who wants to join the PBA Tour?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Gary, if they're young and they're unattached and they want it, do it while you are young. Don't wait and say, what if? Go out there and follow your dream.
And Mike Mullin will convert the spare. So we will be back to the National Bowling Stadium in Reno with more in just a moment. And today's trip down memory lane remembers one of the greatest bowlers ever. Earl Anthony won this event twice and also collected a PBA record 41 career titles.
Earl Anthony, I had the pleasure or privilege of bowling with and against him for many years back in the 70s and early 80s, and in my mind, the best ever.
And you know something, ironically, Marshall, that our top seed today, Mike Albee, won his first title on the PBA Tour by defeating none other than Mr. Anthony.
And it was a major title, PBA National Championship, Mike Albee. And Parker Bohn simply is not ready to stop throwing strikes. That is 7 strikes in a row.
And Chris Sand now will perform on lane 26.
Still very much in the running, Gary. Chris is only 31 pins down with a strike here. Can cut it to 21. Needs it desperately.
Well, coming up next week on the PBA Tour on CBS, the Greater Detroit Open from Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. Ricky Ward won the title last year. He'll try to defend that title coming up next Saturday, 3 p.m. The PBA Tour continues on CBS. Mike Mullin up next, lane 25, and he's trying to stick close.
And for Mike Mullin right now, it's just getting some experience. He knows he's not going to win this game, but he's going to finish it. He's going to try hard. And it'll certainly help him out the next time he finds himself in this situation. And I do believe there will be a next time.
Again, as we said, a product of St. John's. He made the Collegiate Nationals 3 out of 4 years. His mom and dad, Mike and Julie Martin, flew in today to watch the action.
And they've got to be disappointed on the one hand, but certainly proud that their son has made it this far. Parker Bohn III, there's a $10,000 bonus for the PBA for shooting 300 in our first match. Parker's had a .299 on TV. It was in the 1997 Showboat Invitational against Steve Jarris. So Parker certainly not afraid to throw a lot of strikes.
All right, Marshall, and if a 300 game is bowled here, there is a $10,000 bonus.
He's still going. That's 8 in a row. Parker Bohn III. Look at how aggressive he is through the ball. All the pins disappear. Close, will it? You bet. Chris Sand once again forced to strike to stay within 21 pins. Needs it. Another solid 7. Gary, he's done nothing but make great shots. The difference in the match between Chris and Parker, the solid 7 pins.
Chris trying to hang tough with Parker Bohn III. He has a Michigan Junior Masters title to his credit. As we mentioned earlier, member of the Saginaw State University bowling team.
He's a great bowler. He doesn't have a lot of, big credentials, PBA credentials. He's not a member. But I sure think that he should be, and so should this young man, Mike Mullin. We talked with Mike last night, and he did mention that being a member of the tour and traveling the PBA is something in his future, maybe the next couple of years.
And wobbly 10-pin. Well, coming up next, it's the $1.8 million Bell South Classic TPC at Sugarloaf from Duluth, Georgia. Craig Parry and J. Don Blake. Co-leaders at 9 under. Tiger Woods making his first start in a while, just behind. Coming up next on CBS Sports.
Certainly never a surprise to see Tiger Woods high on the leaderboard.
So Mike Mullin converts. And as you can see, 8 consecutive strikes for Parker Bohn III.
Right now, with a strike here, Parker Bohn can shut out Chris Sand. If he strikes in the 9th frame, the worst Parker can do is shoot in the 260s. The best Chris Sand can do right now, 258.
And March, he went on a, Marshall, March, he went on a 3-week promotional tour in Asia for graduate. And after a whole lot of strikes today, he's going to Anchorage, Alaska.
Parker Bohn just doing nothing but the same boring thing time after time. Not so boring for Parker Bohn. Let's take a look at the reaction of this great future Hall of Famer from Jackson, New Jersey. And the first errant shot, Gary, from Chris.
And as we said earlier, Parker thought that he had the edge because neither Chris nor Mike had bowled on television before. You know, is that something that puts the pressure on the bowlers, the TV appearances?
Well, it's certainly a very, very decided edge for a veteran player like Parker Bohn. And there is pressure on the televised players, but I think there's actually the pressure is more on our tournament leader, Mike Albee, because the people in the shootout, you know, they can just let it go, hang loose. All they can do is improve their positions. Mike Albee's got to defend that title one more time.
And you've talked about the importance of the medal game, and certainly Parker Bohn III has that down pat.
Well, he's got it going right now, and certainly a lot of momentum. You know, he was trying in that last frame to get the strike in order to shut out Chris Sand. Now what's Parker Bohn III thinking about? He's thinking about shooting 300. This game is won. He's got 3 more shots to throw to have a national televised 300 game.
Well, Mike Mullin leaving the 247 in the 9th frame, and he'll look to convert this.
Good conversion. And now here is the moment, Gary. It's the 10th frame, 9 strikes in a row. It's something that everyone dreams about. I know when I was just a youngster at home, I think about, you know, bowling, practicing by myself and pretending I had 3 strikes to throw on national television for a 300. Parker Bohn is living that moment right now.
Well, 10th frame for Parker Bohn III.
There she goes.
And he gets the 10 pin to fall over at the last moment. 2 more for Bohn, and he's got an extra 10 grand.
We take a look at our first look at Matt Cameron. Look at the pins dancing around just to barely get out the 10 pin. And the reaction from Parker Bohn, please. Thank you. You know, Gary, last year, our champion, Jason Queen, he shot a 300 game in the televised finals. Can Parker Bohn make a repeat performance of that?
We'll know probably within the next minute or so, Marshall. And here he is on lane 26.
Great shot, Parker Bohn, 11 strikes in a row. What excitement. People are on their feet here. This is a lane that doesn't hook as much. He throws the ball a little further to the right. It holds the pocket. And nothing but 10 in the pit for Parker Bohn. Now Parker must collect himself, Gary. Very important shot. It's a history-making shot. There have only been 11 perfect games on national television. Parker going for the 12th.
That's right, an even dozen if Parker Bohn III could pick this strike up.
Gotta hurry! It scores! He's done it! 300 game for Parker Bohn.
Unbelievable bowling. It was all there, the whole package, the form, the mental aspects. Parker Bohn III will have a happy trip up north today.